no. Oh no. Hold on, everybody. Gee, that was you couldn't write that one. All right, hold on. I just tell, oh, you know what? I'm just gonna say the heck with it. I'm gonna switch cameras. Let me fix the camera. Camera surface. There we go. All right, all right. Here I am. Here I am. Okay. Yep. I'll have to fix that. I'm gonna get this whole situation fixed up by tomorrow. But let me talk to you a little bit about something that you gotta you gotta follow the bouncing ball a little bit in this particular situation. And it has to do with a fellow multifamily investor trainer who's a good guy, a really good guy. I like him. He's a very nice man. But you got to be careful in this stuff, and you got to be careful what you're doing. So the situation is such that I read this article, and I've been following this stuff for quite a while now. So I read this article back in January of this year, and it was about Georgia Brew of Elevate Capital Investment Group, Elevate CIG. This was about a foreclosure that he had, or was being reported that he had, back in Dallas, where he defaulted on a $38 million loan tied to the Selena. Remember that name? It's a 446 unit apartment building at 250 Uvalde Road in Houston, after falling delinquent on loan payments later that year to Arbor Financial. On the Selena, Brew and his co-sponsors borrowed with floating rate debt in November of 2021. So they only had the property for just a few years, according to Morningstar. Just a few months before the Federal Reserve kicked off rate hikes. By the end of that year, revenue at Selena was covering just half of the debt service, like a 0.5 debt coverage ratio. Now, the Selena, valued at $36.2 million by the Harris County Appraisal District last year, has been plagued with resident complaints, including prolonged periods without air conditioning. The complex is also burdened with over 20 mechanics liens from contractors alleging non-payment for their services. Okay. Now, that was January of 2024. So what's being reported is that the Selena was foreclosed on. Well, I don't think it was. And I think what happened is that Arbor Financial is in dire straits, and they're willing to do just about anything to make sure that they don't have to keep taking these properties back. So it looks as though it created a deal, struck a deal with George, and came up with some resolve in the form of kicking the can down the road. Now, before I report to you what I've uncovered, it's not really I'm doing any deep investigative journalism. I'm just putting different articles together, and I understand how this business works. Before I disclose to you what was just reported on Viceroy Research, you have to fill in a little bit of the puzzle. And the thing that you need to understand is that George went out and started what's called a rescue capital fund. Okay. Now it's called the Elevate Debt Fund, MFCI Fund 1. It's a debt fund that gives investors the opportunity to invest in multifamily real estate backed assets while getting more of the cash flow of the projects. This opportunity does not participate in upside and is structured as debt to preferred partners and operators. So in other words, just if you're still invested in Selena, or you were one of the original investors in the fund that purchased Selena, you part of your growth, your plan was to take advantage of the appreciation, if there is any. But getting back to this MCI one fund, that doesn't cover. That's a debt fund. It doesn't. It gets interest. It doesn't get any appreciation on the property. The fund structures for investor. This fund structure for investors is a 14.5% preferred return with 7.25% paid current monthly after the first month. Okay. And basically they're looking to raise $5 million with a 14.5% preferred return, holding it for 2 to 4 years. Annualized cash on cash 7.25. Okay. So that's what George did when things started to hit the ceiling on the Selena and Arbor, when it looks like it was about to be foreclosed on. He went out and raised a debt fund to get back in there and shore up that property, because they couldn't even make the mortgage payment. So the people in the debt fund are actually putting debt in the form of preferred equity on a piece of property that's currently in default. Now, was in default in January 24. Now, here's where it gets kind of interesting. And this is where you start to put the pieces together. Viceroy comes out with their report every so often. And for those of you that don't know it, you got to go check out viceroyresearch.org. Very unique company. They're a short seller. They go around, they find companies in distress, they pick on them by analyzing their books, getting witnesses to testify, whistleblowers, and writing about how bad this company is while they're short selling that company's stock. And you can go on and you can see all the different companies that Viceroy is trying to take advantage of. Arbor is one of them. Arbor is one of their newest punching bags, and they've done quite a job on Arbor, I'll tell you that. So the question then becomes, what is it about Arbor and Georgia Brew with Elevate? Well, according to this report, and this is on the most recent report, it's called Arbor September 24 CLO update. It's on page 4. If you look at the second bullet point on that, it says, and I'll read it to you, and I'll map it out for you. It says, we have verified with various distressed syndicates, including Elevate's The Selena. There's that name again. And I'm going to come back to it one more time. That Arbor provides mezzanine financing to existing delinquent customers in order to meet rent. These loans are non-recoverable, amount to revenue round tripping, meaning they're sending it out and it's just coming right back to them in the form of mortgage payments. So essentially, they're probably giving it to them, putting it in escrow, and then just drawing their mortgage payments out of that mezzanine fund. And these loans are non-recoverable, amount to revenue round tripping, and have not been impaired. Revenue round tripping. How do you like that name? Okay, so let's see here. Arbor modified the interest of Elevate's $32 million floating rate. Remember how it said that Elevate did not get a cap? Well, you don't really need a cap when the bank's willing to cut your number. The Selena bridge loan is 6%. The bridge loan is 6%. Elevate confirms that they did not purchase a rate cap. This represents a discount of over 300 basis points to Arbor's book average. So if the average when they started going up with the rates became 9%, they walked into Georgia Brew's deal and said, guys, we know you're going to get foreclosed on. Even the real deal told us that back in January of 2024. But in the meantime, what we're going to do is we're going to cut your rate by 300 basis points. We're going to take it from 9 down to 6. And then, but we need some more capital from you. We need to see an infusion from you to help make this work. What can you do for us? I got a great idea. Let's create a debt fund. So they create a debt fund that is going to just plow money back into this defaulting property. And it says Elevate created a new CRE debt investment vehicle to provide fresh capital to the Selena in the form of a rescue loan carrying interest at 18%. This rescue loan has a second ranking lien on the Selena. Okay. Arbor's in the first position. All these investors who came in this rescue fund are now in a second position behind a defaulting loan, which would wipe them out altogether. This rescue loan is presumably intended to meet Arbor's interest expenses on the 6% loan in the short term. Did you follow that? The whole purpose of that debt fund is to shore up already a bad debt. Arbor, and I don't think it says that when in any of the prospectus information. Arbor has rolled over $1.9 million of outstanding interest and a further $4.4 million mezzanine loan into a third ranking loan. All right, so just think about it this way. The Arbor loan is at $32 million. The rescue loan is $3.865 million. The second Arbor loan is $6.2 million. The original investors put in $13 million. All in all, the capital stack on this property is $55 million. How much is it worth? Let me see if it doesn't say. It doesn't say exactly, but that's the next question. We got to figure out what it's worth. But okay, so right now they're into this thing for $55 million, and I don't remember what number that I saw, but it wasn't even close to that amount when I saw what it was, what they were paying it back for. Let me see if I got it over here. Let me see. No, it didn't say. It does say it in another. It says well, this isn't really accurate. You'd really need to dig down. I should have had that number prepared for you, and I apologize. But according to the Real Deal article, it says the Selena, valued at $36.2 million by the Harris County Appraisal District last year. 36.2. Now we all understand how appraisals work in Texas. It doesn't mean that that's what the market value is necessarily. But even if it is at 36, if that's accurate, and they negotiated that 36 million, what they're saying is that we have debts and equity totaling 55 million, and the property is only worth 36 million. Nobody's going to see a dime on that, especially those people in the Rescue Capital Fund. That I would like to see the offering memorandum for all the investors. If anybody has one, send it to me, charles@dobbenslaw.com. I'd love to read exactly what that debt fund is all about, because let me just read this one last line from the Arbor from the Viceroy report before I tell you some other stuff that's kind of problematic. It said modified loans appear non-recoverable. Arbor has simply kicked the can and created a worse financial position for the defrauded LPs, of the Selena, who will no doubt be capital called to continue funding this functionally bankrupt project. And it is functionally bankrupt when you look at the valuation in the capital sector totaling 55 million, and then it looking to be only worth about 36 million. Okay, so here's the final rub. if you go to Georgia Brew's website and you click on his portfolio, but if you click on if you get to the investment fund, elevate the investment fund. Let me see if I can give you the. Let me see. If you go, I'm going to try to read it. I'm reading the URL down here at the bottom. It's elevatecig.com/invest debt fund. When you go there and you click on the portfolios that are being supported by this property, you'll see one that's called the Selena. But when you click on it, they've rebranded the Selena, probably because of the bad press. It's now called the Graham. Same property, 446 units, East Houston, and they've already gone out there and rebranded it because of all the bad press that the Selena has been getting. So I'll tell you, folks, they got to clean up their first off, they got to clean up their marketing. They can't be running out there saying that the Selena is the property that that they still own. They got to, if they've rebranded it, they got to take the name Selena off. But more importantly, I'd be very, very concerned if I were an investor in the Selena or investor in the debt fund, because it appears, based upon what Viceroy Research is reporting, that the money from that debt fund went to shore up the Selena that was already in technical default, functional bankruptcy, and it just is not something that they at some point, everyone's better off by dropping the keys on the desk at the bank. So I don't care what your ego is. If you can't, you just don't want to say that we've never missed a distribution payment ever. At some point, this stuff just happens. It's just the nature of the business. Some people can sit back and say they're Nostradamus, or and they saw all of this coming. I did. I didn't think it was going to be. I did. I knew that those interest rates are so ridiculously low that it just could never support it. And then these cap rates that people were buying it at just didn't make any sense. But I have to tell you that what I didn't see coming is how the banks are once again trying to restructure these deals. I think that's a technique that they learned back in 2008. Now, I went to a distressed loan workout convention down in Florida a while back, and they were all saying, we are trying to hire these are the banks talking. We're trying to hire people to shore up our workout department because we know it's going to be huge and it's coming down the pike. Well, they said they couldn't do that because nobody's been trained in it. Back in 2008 to 2010, everybody in the banks were working on this. But now they're just not there because the economy has been so good over the last 10 years. So what's happening now is they're trying to find people to fill in the blanks and help to work these properties through. And most of them, learned their techniques back at the end of 2010 through 2014, where you're just trying to, you come up with A/B notes, you come up with kicking the can down the road, extend and pretend, all those types of things. And it looks as though they're doing it again. I didn't think that was going to happen. But this is totally different than it was in 2008. 2008 impacted, it impacted every homeowner in the country. This isn't. Totally different residential mortgage and residential home market than it was back then. Let me just give you an example. The Big Short will tell you, a stripper owned 5 homes. Well, that doesn't happen anymore. And there's more equity in homes today than there ever has been ever before. With the exception, I just saw a report that California has more mortgage properties than they ever have, and they have more mortgage properties than the rest of the country. On a per capita basis, whatever the analysis was. But that's what's going on. Those are the different things that I've seen that are actually surprising me. But this type of stuff, this debt fund, that's because someone's ego is so big that they can't turn around and say, you know what, guys, we just have to drop the keys on the bank's desk and call it a day, because that's the proper thing to do. I tell you, I fought like hell back in 2008 to 2015 to keep some of my properties. I would have been better off to have cut my losses sooner and walked away, but we just didn't do it. And some of these people, you know what, that's what they should do. The banks are doing it, so why shouldn't you? All right, folks, that is what I got. Or 1995, the SNL crisis. Yeah, because Lama, you must be as old as I am, 72. And that's the story. That's the story. So it's unfortunate. I think that George better keep his clean up his marketing. That's what I got in trouble from with the SEC. One partner had created a website that was like missing one thing, and the SEC sued us all. And George is doing the same thing. He's got to clean up that marketing stuff first. Yeah, but that's the nature of the business. I don't like these rescue funds. I don't think you know what you're investing in, and I don't think these people knew what they were investing in. George is a great sales guy for these funds, but yeah, that's the story. I'm sticking to it, and it's Thursday. And it's going to be a great day. Going to be a great weekend. I hope everybody's having a great time, and I am certainly. And I got a big announcement coming up in December 1st. Big announcement. I know we're in September, but there's a lot of planning going on for this, and it's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to it. So stay tuned. I'll see you next Tuesday. I'll see you on Tuesday. And we'll talk then. Thanks, everybody. Good to see you.